But underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of it is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.
The answer is, if there are oversight hearings, I absolutely will cooperate fully and testify before the Congress if asked. You may not know, but I've testified before the Congress a few hundred times, okay, over the last 40 years or so. So I have no trouble testifying, we can defend and explain and stand by everything that we've said. So I have nothing to add. Under the advice of my attorneys, I will invoke my right under the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution to refrain from answering your questions. Thank you.
Why are you gay?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
You are gay.
We don't get fooled again. Don't get fooled again. No, no. Meet the new boss. Same as the old boss.
Welcome to the Tom Laipply Podcast. Happy Thursday, everybody. I love that intro. I don't know about you guys, but I might be young, but I love me some Who. It's great. It really pumps me up, sets the mood, you know. I love the I'm a drummer, if some of you don't know. Some of you know from watching Sunday service, but I love the overplaying. I love it. It's ridiculous. Every 5 seconds is a drum fill. It's so good. Well, welcome to the show tonight. I am your host again, along with my co-hosts, Joe and Tommy, over there in my panel of experts. We've got a great show for you tonight. We've got a great show. It's one of the greatest. We've got a lot of topics that we're going to try to hit, and we're going to try to do it. We'll get philosophical tonight. We'll do our normal kind of spiel and stuff like that. But we're going to try to stay a little bit more on track for you. So, it's not me reading the news to you, but still covering more news. This is our little teaser for tonight's show. The Iran war just expanded again with a brand new Saudi-led Red Sea coalition. A major nomination fight is exploding in the Senate. Elon Musk is dumping cash into the midterms. Fauci took the fifth, and Spain is dealing with the consequences of its own open border experiment. What topic are you guys most excited to cover so far tonight?
Joey, you first.
I like the Elon Musk thing.
Okay. Tommy?
There's lots of speculation there.
I actually kind of agree with Joe. I think the Elon Musk thing is very interesting, considering before he said that he would never get into politics again, and then dumps $100 million.
Yeah,
and makes a super PAC.
What's his goal? Could be anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not just him; he's making a pact.
Well, yeah, I think if I'm correct, which I might not be, but I think it's the America PAC that he already had, that he used for the last election.
But there's a Sentinel PAC too that.
So he's added another thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
interesting.
I think that it's
he's joining something.
Well, they're joining him because he has the most money. I think that's how it's worked.
Okay. Yeah. No, it's interesting. Yeah, let us know in the chat, guys. I've got you guys up. I can see you all commenting. I see some people saying Elon. Obviously, the Iran thing is actually, to me, one of the most boring topics, but because of the new information that obviously has just happened in the last day or two, it makes it a little bit more interesting.
That's number two.
Yeah,
that's number two.
Yeah, a little.
It's like a world war starting. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's literally a world war starting. So let's get into that. We're going to start with that. So Saudi Arabia forms a new Red Sea military coalition. So the war has widened now. Now it's not just in the Strait of Hormuz and the Persian Gulf. No. Now it has widened and it includes the Red Sea, which again is going to make your gas prices go up because Saudi Arabian oil now is going to be blocked by Houthi rebels. So congratulations, everybody. You're going to be paying not $5 a gallon at the gas station. Who knows? Could be 10. You never know.
We're going to know how California feels on a normal day.
Exactly, because the thing is that if we're paying $5 a gallon, California on a good day pays $5 a gallon. Yeah. So it's for them, they might actually be paying $10 a gallon for premium or diesel. That's insane. That's wild. But so here's the core facts of what's going on. Saudi Arabia announced it is organizing a Saudi-led military coalition to protect shipping in the Red Sea after Houthi attacks and a declared maritime blockade on Saudi oil exports. So again, we were talking about, how much of our oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz and stuff. Well, we get a lot of oil from Saudi Arabia, so That would be the Red Sea. So that is now affected. Around 50 countries were invited to join Saudi Arabia, and 14 have already affirmed support, including Egypt and Turkey. Details on ships, aircraft, and rules of engagement are still being worked out. So again, like Tommy was saying, it's literally like a world war now, because Saudi Arabia is inviting 50 other countries to join their, they're part of the war now.
Their alliance.
Yeah, their alliance and their war effort.
Axis and allies.
And I honestly, who's the Axis and who's the allies? Because
So what's their goal?
to protect
their
the Red Sea.
Because the Saudis have a route that they like to export oil from, and
Yeah.
it's being bombed by the Houthis now.
Right,
A
which is
route other
Iran
than the
aligned.
Strait?
I don't know.
Correct. Yeah. So the
The
Red
Red
Sea
Sea.
is obviously separate from the Persian
Right.
Gulf and all that, and the Houthis, which are Yemenis, but they're backed by Iran. So these Houthi rebels and stuff like that are on the side of Iran, and they are funded by Iran. They are the ones who are attacking in the Red Sea and basically creating a maritime blockade to stop Saudi Arabia from exporting oil.
So they're just basically trying to find like-minded countries who are also like connected to the Red Sea to form
And
this
getting
fact-
Saudi oil.
So it's basically like World War I, like when Franz Ferdinand got shot, and then everybody's like, everybody else is having problems, so maybe we should join together.
Yeah.
Like that's
All of our secret alliances are now coming to light. Yeah, no, it's like what I said the other night, where it's like NATO and stuff. You attack one NATO country and you attack us all. It's like, is that really like a smart idea? Like, I understand some good behind having alliances and stuff like that, but like, what if you have a country that's in your group, your little alliance like NATO or whatever, and they're like mostly good but sometimes crazy, and they just decide to pop off and they're just gonna like start attacking people. Now you have to like defend them. Now
Yeah.
they get attacked and you're like roped into their bull crap. I'm like, see, this is why I'm anti-UN, anti-NATO, anti-World Health Organization, anti-everything. Let's just be America first. America only. Like, you can, like Tommy has brought up, in our sphere of influence, Monroe Doctrine style kind of thing, like get involved in certain things that may actually really mess with you. Because again, it's like with the Cuba argument. Okay, well, it wasn't that long ago that we had the Cuban Missile Crisis and we had Russian, like, freaking missiles on Cuba pointed at America, like nukes. Like, okay, so that's like kind of like, we got to get involved. It's 90 miles off the coast of Florida. So it's like actually a big deal. But Red Sea,
no, not good.
Strait of Hormuz, Persian Gulf.
And Egypt is actually like a pretty major country. They're basically like
Oh, yeah.
they're almost like first world, and they
Yeah.
have like a major military. It's not. This
They
is
do.
not. This is not a.
No, it's not good. It's not good. And again, it was an American ship that was attacked in an Egyptian port. So that's an attack on Egypt. Even though it's an attack on an American ship, okay, you can attack a Russian ship, but if it's in the port of Boston and you bomb it, then you're bombing the port of Boston.
Right.
So you just bombed America.
Well, and this coalition is just really with the Saudis, who have a very shaky relationship with Israel, along with Egypt. They've
Yep.
been at war with Israel, and if something happens between them, and then they have their own coalition, and that coalition then declares war on Israel, or something weird happens like that, because that could happen.
Yeah.
Then it's gonna push other nations like us to
Yeah.
defend Israel.
100%,
like some
which we always will.
Middle East coalition,
It's like the Book of Revelations.
Yeah, just unraveling
the
before
final
you.
crusade.
Yeah.
yeah.
Final
yeah.
crusade.
Wow.
So this lands in the middle of a broader escalation. The U.S. and Saudi jets jointly struck Iran-backed militias in Iraq. So that also includes Iraq. First public Saudi participation of this kind. Roughly 20 Iranian military technical advisors reported killed in that. Iran fired missiles at U.S. bases in Jordan, which we kind of covered last night. Jordan intercepted several of those, and an American-owned tanker was set on fire in an Egyptian port. First time Egypt has been hit. So again, like we did say that last night, but I just wanted to reiterate, like, okay, it's getting a little bit more involved here. It's not just like it's not, because this is really what it was, is Israel attacking Iran and starting a war for no good reason other than like weapons of mass destruction, Saddam Hussein kind of style, where it's like all this talk of, nuclear weapons that don't exist. And then America having to come in and like save Israel because they can't actually like finish anything. They always start the crap, but guess who has to come in and finish it? We do. But the problem again is that we don't just stop there. We actually like take charge of the war, and it becomes our problem. Well, again, now it's not just a America, Israel, Iran conflict. Now you've got Yemeni Houthis, you have Iraq, you have Egypt, you have Turkey, you have all these countries now getting involved. So yeah, it is literally turning into a world war. So, it's one of those things where we can admit when we're wrong. And, when like liberals were all like, Donald Trump's going to start World War III. Actually, it's kind of looking like they were right. It's kind of looking like they were right because, if he just left it alone, like Obama did and Biden did and, Clinton and two Bushes and Reagan and all these other people, whether you agree with them or not, they actually were smart about this and they didn't get involved. But of course, Trump had to get his little hands in there. No pun intended, his little tiny hands, and stir the pot. And now we're stuck into what is turning into basically World War III. Iran. This is funny because Joe and I were talking about this before the show. So you know how we have the Red Cross and stuff? Iran has the Red Crescent. It is not the Red Cross. They're like helping out in wartime kind of like medical stuff. They're called the Red Crescent. So
I wonder if they get like a cease and desist letter from the Red Cross for like,
right, like stealing the color red. It's like the same exact color. The logo is the exact same, except it's a crescent. The Iranian Red Crescent claims a U.S. strike on Keshem Island killed a civilian family, parents, and a 2-year-old. I don't know how true that is. I mean, we did bomb like a school full of like young kids, so could be true. But you also got to remember that like, even though I'm against the war, it's not like I'm like fully in support of Iran though. It's they're still liars. You know what I mean? It's like you could be, it's like Cold War propaganda kind of thing. It's like the Soviet Union versus America. Okay, we were both lying.
Yeah, it's 5th generation warfare.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like that could be true. Again, the school, which, by the way, I mentioned the school when it happened, and some of you guys in the chat, which maybe they don't even watch anymore because they just like hate Tom and I, but we're like, no, that's fake news. That's blah, 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 liberal propaganda. Yeah, no, it actually came out. It's true. And even our own administration admitted to that and basically said that it was an accident. It's like, okay, but it still happened, though. You killed a bunch of kids, like, at a school.
Yeah, it's not an accident for them.
Yeah, they're all dead. So, yeah, it doesn't matter whether it was an accident
or not.
Load
to the last checkpoint. It's not a video game.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. New U.S. Treasury sanctions on entities linked to Mahan Air and the IRGC have been released. So, again, we're just ramping up sanctions. So that peace accord that started on Friday is obviously way over. That peace accord that happened 30 times before that and the memorandum of understanding, all that's long gone. And Trump has said that the U.S. will hit back very hard and that it's our turn.
Not good. It's really crazy to
Yeah.
me. What is interesting about this is that there's like separate factions now, like legit, because before it was really just Israel versus everybody. Now it's like Saudis, 14 other it's really Saudis, Egypt, then Israel's kind of a
Turkey,
part
yeah.
of them, but not really, and then Iran, Pakistan,
Yeah.
Turkey, they're separate. It's turning into
Yeah,
quite
no, that's true because you think about it, and it's like the Saudis, for example, they don't like Israel at all, but they also don't like Iran.
yeah.
And because of the fact, like for them, I think that's like old school, like realpolitik is where you're just like doing whatever just makes the most sense for your country, even though you're like the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. You know what I mean? Because like Saudi Arabia would never like willingly join Israel for anything. But because now the Houthis are attacking and like blockading them from selling oil, okay, well, that directly is linked to Iran. So now they're like, okay, well, we don't like that, so we can't back Iran, even though we also don't like them either. But we're going to have to like begrudgingly back Israel because now we're being involved.
Yeah, well, I think that the
very
Saudis
interesting.
picture themselves as less extreme. They're like
Totally.
They're like reformists.
Yeah,
almost
no, it's like UAE as well.
Yeah, so I don't think they like to be associated with Iran because Iran is definitely extremists. So I think they would rather, it's like what you just said, the enemy of my enemy. It's like I would rather choose a side that's less extreme rather than like crazy radicals. I think that's where they're at because they want to be friends with the U.S. because they want to have nuclear capability. So,
Yeah, which we talked about it. Yeah, them getting American companies to go and create nuclear power plants for them so that they can fund, they're mega cities in the desert and AI data centers, which they also want a piece of.
Yeah,
They're into crypto. They're into AI. They're all into all.
They're
this
even
kind of
into
stuff.
sports. Like they're into modern
Yeah.
sports. Like a lot. The
Formula
PFL
One,
is
too.
funded by
Yeah.
by the Saudis. The golf,
Yep.
Live Golf is
Yep.
F1.
Yep,
So
all of that.
They
Same
want to
thing
be
with
part of the world.
And that's the same thing with UAE too, because like some of these races are done in like Dubai and stuff. That's UAE. So they're all trying to be like a. They're trying to be like a Muslim. So the United States, obviously, it's not this, but it's supposed to be like a Christian first world country and like superpower. They're trying to be like the Muslim version of that.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
But like very like lukewarm Muslim.
Yeah, like
So
moderate reformed.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and the fact that they're getting involved is really not good because they're the kind of people that are like Tommy was saying, like they don't want to be a part of the cluster. They don't want to be a part of the craziness. So they're like, we're just gonna like sit back and kind of watch, see what happens. We're not backing anybody. But
now they are.
well, and here's the thing, and this could just be schizo brain or something. But like, was it really Houthis backed by Iran, or is Israel trying to get the Saudis and all these other countries involved so they actually were part of it and it was like kind of like a black op? Like you don't know. It's like it could be a false
It might
flag.
not even really been the Houthis. It could
That's
be
what I
the
mean.
Houthis dressed up or
like
Israeli,
Israelis dressed up
yeah,
like
yeah.
Houthis and stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean is like, and here's the thing too is like it's not very hard if you have a like Mossad, CIA, FBI kind of thing to actually convince real Houthis to pull something off and think that they're being backed by Iran, but it's guised and it's actually Israel doing it.
100%.
So
and
you
they're
just-
poor
you-
too. They'll take money. They'll take
100%.
weapons. Yeah.
100%. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, that's funny to aggravate Diet Coke of Muslims. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what Saudi Arabia is. But yeah, no. So I just don't. I don't know. There is definitely a lot of deception going on. Jules 21 Hours just said. I just don't. I really don't buy any narrative. I don't really care who it's from, whether it's from Iran, Saudi Arabia, America, Donald Trump. I just don't buy it. We've already been lied to so many times about basically everything that I'm like, really, the only thing that you have is like discernment and the Holy Spirit. And if you don't have that, well, you're kind of screwed. Or like just listen to this podcast and we'll like be the discernment for you, I guess. But like, you know what I mean? Because it's like you really can't trust anybody, and you kind of have to use, again, like the Holy Spirit and like your instincts. Because I don't know, I don't really trust it.
It's a major step though. Like that
Yeah,
is
it's
true.
huge.
There's no like lying here. This is like a major step.
100%.
Like they've begrudgingly not wanted to join the war for years. Like
That's what I was just going to
years.
say. So, like, Saudi Arabia spent months trying to stay on the sidelines. Why form a multi-nation Red Sea coalition right now?
Yeah. This is like
That's a big deal.
Yeah, this is a big step.
They're trying to make a name for themselves now.
They're like, we went in on this action.
Yeah, not good.
Do you think, let me see. Okay, here's a good question for you guys. Do you think that the coalition is actually to try to like deter the Houthis, or is it like political like posturing and signaling?
I was going to ask that earlier, what you thought about that, because that's a plausible explanation as well.
Yeah, like it's literally just a show of strength.
Yeah, they're kind of like, all right, this situation is going sideways.
It's
We are
escalating, so we're going
to
to prep.
Yeah, we're going to, form a coalition, and now we got to be taken seriously with what we want. And, we have jets too, and
Yeah.
we have missiles too. And we've been sitting here lying dormant, waiting for you guys to figure it out. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, they are about business. Someone in the chat just said that. Like, they're about business. Like, they're trying to, their oil is trying to flow.
Well, and they have a lot of money, obviously, and we supply them with military equipment. So like they have
They have F-16s.
F-16s and stuff. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I mean, they don't have nukes, but that's why you need a coalition,
Yep.
right? Like if it's
So
just
they can try to
us-
get somebody with a nuke. Because once
Correct.
just one country has it and then forms a defensive pact, which means if you declare war on any of these countries, then
You
we'll
declare it
attack.
on us, yeah.
Then it's mutually assured destruction
100%.
immediately.
100%. Yeah. And that's what I think. I think right now it might be posturing, but like it's not going to be. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of like we're just starting.
Yep.
We're turning the truck on, cold
Yep.
start. Got to let it warm up a little bit before you start like.
I hope it doesn't escalate more. I hope this is just like a show of force kind of thing.
No. I think that
I think it's going
I think
to.
this is real. This
Yeah, I
is
think-
real.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Joe is,
here,
like, scared.
The thing is too, like we like to like threaten to sell weapons to even Turkey, like the U.S. And I believe we have sold our jets to them. Like
Yeah, we
that's how we threaten Israel.
Yeah, because Trump
all the
likes
time.
Erdogan.
Because we'll say, oh, if you want to keep pressing us, we'll just sell our whatever
Right.
to
Turkey.
to Turkey,
Yeah.
which has like nuclear weapons, I believe. Or they have a very
don't think they
or
do.
they have a very advanced military.
They
though.
do.
Yeah, very
They do.
advanced. So you
No,
know,
they're not like
which is just crazy because they are the opposite. They're like extremists. They're more like Iran.
they're not as extreme as Iran, but they are more along those lines.
They're part of like
And-
that coalition, though, correct? Like Iran, Pakistan, because they always
Kind of,
like,
but Turkey is on the side of Saudi Arabia.
oh really?
They're against
Okay.
Iran in this.
Okay.
So like they back Iran when Iran is basically being bullied by us. But then when it's like, okay, Iran is starting to get a little wild in the chat, then they're like, okay, cool, our jets here. you know.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and Turkey, here's the thing too. Yeah, Skunk71 says Israel wants Turkey. Yeah, it's part of their greater Israel plan. So like if you guys don't know what that is, definitely look it up. I've talked about it on the podcast before. Greater Israel is their goal. That is what they are planning. That is why they attack the countries that they attack, and we basically back it no matter what. But they're essentially trying to control the entire Middle East, and Greater Israel, massive piece of land. What was I saying? Oh, Turkey. It's so funny because a lot of people don't, we're so caught up in our own, I don't know, McDonald's and Starbucks that we don't like understand that like these countries are not like third world. And you got to understand where that term actually came from. We use it to say like a less developed country is third world. Where that actually came from was the Cold War. The first world countries backed America, second world countries backed Soviet Union, and third world countries didn't back anybody. That's where that terminology comes from. So, like, a lot of the times, poorer, less developed countries didn't back anybody because they didn't even have money to back anybody. They didn't care. It wasn't their fight. Their fight. So, like, but like, Turkey is not a third world country. Like, Iran is not a third world country. They actually, it's the same thing with Saudi Arabia, UAE, like all these countries. We think it's like, oh yeah, it's just a bunch of like desert, nasty, backwoods countries, whatever. Okay, even Iraq before we attacked them. And even not as much Afghanistan. Afghanistan is a little worse than Iraq. But Iraq, though, was, like, beautiful. Mm-hmm. If you actually look at classic Iraq, classic Iran, and current Iran, by the way, too. But classic Iraq before we completely, like, turned them into dust. Like, beautiful country. Beautiful country. And their military wasn't as advanced, but their population, their civilization was advanced.
Was that, like, the video of the, like, shock and awe?
Yes, yep.
Yeah, it's like showing the missiles raining down.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
And it's like, it shows like from security camera footage, it's like a beautiful park and like a canal and all these nice buildings, street lights.
To me, because when I was a kid, I remember watching that on the news. I remember when that attack actually happened, because if you remember, it was like nightly news time. It was like prime time for us, and it was like early morning for them. And I remember watching that with my parents. I'm sitting on the floor, little kid, because again, I'm weird. I got involved in politics at like the age of 8. But like, I remember sitting watching that on the news. I think it was CNN, because I think they were the only ones covering it, if I remember correctly. And like, I was looking at that thinking like it was like Miami, because it looked like Miami, because they got the big, beautiful like date palm trees and like all this kind of stuff, and like beautiful parks and streams, and like their houses aren't like our style of houses, but they're nice. They're like little mini mansions that are like built out of like clay and mortar and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, but it was like beautiful and stuff. It's not anymore. So we kind of think of these countries as like, oh, what are they gonna do? They're like sand people, They like literally live in mud huts. It's like, well, they actually don't. They actually have militaries full of weapons that we sell them. So
yeah.
It's like when you're watching Iron Man 1, when he gets captured and he's seeing like all these bombs and the munitions and stuff, and it has his name on it. Okay, that's us. We're like fighting in these wars and getting attacked by weapons that we sold to the country that are like bombing us.
Yeah, well, remember when Afghanistan took over Bagram? They became like the 26th biggest military in the
Yeah,
world.
yeah, they got
something like that.
Blackhawks from us. They have like all this stuff, and they're flying our military equipment and our tanks and all this stuff.
Imagine
It's like,
how cool that would be, though, in a way, though.
For them?
Like, you like take over Bagram, and you're like, dude, there's like there's like military jeeps
All
here.
of a sudden
and,
they have
tanks.
like night vision.
yeah,
Dude, they have like M1 Abrams. They're like,
100%.
that'd be cool.
And then they did a military parade flying like the Blackhawks and like the tanks. And everything.
people, and here's the thing, people were like mocking them because they like crashed one. It's like, okay, yeah, they crashed one, but they have like 10 others, and they were all flying, baby.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
now
they
have.
didn't get official training. They just learned.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
They're like having to go through the manual.
They learned. Yeah, I was gonna say they learned the hard way with one guy that was like, "Oh, I got this, and he didn't read the manual, and he died. They're like studying their manual, they're like quickly like flipping through. They're like, all right, let's not do that.
Well, they basically had like the Afghani version of you.
Like, 100%. Yeah, the nerd that's like, let's read the manual.
Yeah, and then they had like a person test it out after they like had you read the manual to them.
And they're like, oh, it works, Hey! Allah Akbar! Yeah. So again, it's like, and that's a great point, is like, again, like, they're like the 26th largest military in the world now. Afghanistan is. Like, just like overnight. Thank you, Joe Biden. Like, it's crazy. Okay, so that's, I mean, unless you guys have anything else to say on that, that to me is like, that's like an update on Iran and Saudi Arabia and all that stuff, but there's not really more to that for now. I mean, obviously we'll be like looking out and keeping an eye on the situation, but that's kind of what we have on that subject.
Yep.
So next subject that we were kind of teasing earlier in the show is this nomination in the Senate for Donald Trump's attorney general. So if you remember, Pam Bondi was the attorney general and Todd Blanche was the deputy attorney general. Well, when she resigned, he basically became the interim attorney general. It doesn't always have to happen like that. It doesn't always have to be the deputy that steps up and becomes the temporary AG. But in this case, it was, and we on this podcast did a covering of who Todd Blanche is, and yes, Kelsey K, we will be covering Spain shortly. But Todd Blanche, we like went through and kind of like told you about Todd Blanche, and the dude is literally like a liberal. Like he was not even a conservative or a Republican until he basically started working with Trump. So he like switched his party just so that it looks like he's a Republican so that he can get clout and position in the Trump administration. Well, he's been our acting AG currently. So in the Senate, they're trying to actually like go through with the nomination process. So again, this is like nerdy stuff, but I like the nerdy stuff. This is actually a very interesting topic to me. The way that it works is you sit before the Senate, and it's not the whole Senate because this is why they have committees. So the committee that's basically like the committee that oversees the Justice Department, they're the ones who actually vet and approve the nomination for that position. Each committee has their, whether it be in the Senate or in the House, oversight committee, like all these different kind of things. If you're a part of that committee, you're the person that gets to say like, yes, we approve this Supreme Court justice or this attorney general or whatever. So he is currently sitting in front of the Senate trying to get approved. And now what's going on is John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, both who lost their elections, both who are Rhino Republicans and rightfully so should have lost their elections, thank goodness. They are basically threatening Trump with this. I'll just read this for you and then I'll kind of explain it. Trump threatened to withdraw Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General, which, let's pause for a sec. Weird when you think that Trump is saying like, oh yeah, Todd Blanche is this great guy and he should be the Attorney General and that's why I've nominated him. He's my guy. Pam Bondi, you know, she was great while she was in. This is Trump saying, not me. She was great while she was in. She served America and did us proud, but now it's time for Todd Blanche to take over. Okay, first of all, dumpster fire with Pam Bondi, dumpster fire with Todd Blanche. But you think that like, okay, well, if Trump is getting threatened with something, why would he withdraw his nomination for AG? Because wouldn't that hurt Trump more? He's getting hurt with the threat, and then he's getting hurt with removing his AG. Okay, well, he's threatening to withdraw Todd Blanche's nomination for Attorney General rather than scale back a tax immunity deal that protects Trump, his family, and businesses from IRS audits potentially worth $100+ million for Trump. Okay, wait a minute. Whoa. Wait, are you telling me that Trump is saying if you don't get rid of this tax immunity deal thing, and you don't like push that through, and I'm like might be in some hot water, if you don't like fix that situation, I'm withdrawing my own candidate for AG? Wait a minute. So that tells me then that actually Todd Blanche is not the right guy who should be the Attorney General. He is a guy that you said, okay, we'll do this deal. if you do this for me, then instead of putting like a hardcore conservative as AG, I'll give you Todd Blanche. That's basically what that seems like, because now he's saying, okay, well, you're not okay with helping me out on this tax thing, so then I'm going to remove the guy that I gave you as like a present, Todd Blanche, this lame loser libtard, and I'm going to actually pull him back, and maybe I'll put an America First person there. Okay, if you're the conservative Republican president of the United States, you have the House, you have the Senate, you have the White House, and you have the Supreme Court, shouldn't you be putting America First candidates as Attorney General?
Yeah, it's kind of a bad look either way. Either move he makes looks bad.
Yeah. So it's like, okay, so this is just a game for Trump then. He's putting forward Todd Blanche so that he can get this like tax immunity.
Well, just like everything, it's more it is kind of like two-sided, because I do agree with the overall like anti-weaponization deal, which is helping people who are like maybe like Jan 6 people that like their lives got ruined because of standing there as the Capitol got like destroyed, you know?
Totally agree with that.
Which I agree with that, but the problem with that is they added in these extra things for like special people.
Yep. Well,
like
it's
nepotism.
It's like your Saudi deal with Israel.
Yeah.
Trump gets a deal basically signed with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And then he goes, actually, hold up. I know you already signed the deal, but the only way it's going through is if you normalize relationship with Israel.
So they like corrupted it. They corrupted what actually would have been like a good, legitimate thing for innocent people who like can't pay their lawyers' fees, can't wasted years in prison, not able to work a job.
Yeah, it's like that guy who killed himself in prison because he was a Jan 6er that literally didn't even commit a crime, and he, until he killed himself, was literally in prison for like years.
Yeah,
and he wasn't even found guilty.
Those kinds of people should be like, obviously he can't be reimbursed, but people who were in prison for like 5 years that maybe were a plumber, they should be reimbursed like $1 million because they could have been making money the entire time.
And their family suffered. Yeah.
But then you have, like, in my opinion, I think Trump is trying to take full advantage of the situation by saying, I know that I was like ripped off, but actually I'm going to add in my daughter. I'm going to add in this guy,
Jared
this lawyer,
Kushner.
Jared Kushner. And it's like, dude, this deal was not meant for you. Like, it's meant for the people who are citizens that aren't billionaires, you know? So,
yeah.
Look
100%.
at Skunk's comment. I like that. Same reason Trump isn't pushing the auto pen pardons.
100%.
He wants to pardon his whole family and some others on his way out too.
No, it's true.
Yeah, I could
true.
see that. And see, I wouldn't have believed that like 6 months ago.
No, 100%.
But now when I read that, I'm like, probably.
Well, and then you have to go into, again, this is like schizo brain talking, but like you got to wonder, like, why isn't he investigating like the Thomas Crook shooting where it like shot him in the ear kind of thing? Like, why would you not want to like do and pursue these things? It makes Black Pill Aaron come out and go like, maybe that was just a setup.
or Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, he doesn't give a crap. Like, nobody gives a crap. And all the stuff that we were told to rage against the left about, like the shooting against Donald Trump, the shooting with Charlie Kirk was a little different because Trump was already president, but I'm saying leading up to the election, the pardons, all these different things that we're like raging against the machine is part of the reason why we voted for Donald Trump again, is so that we could like see this stuff get fixed. Donald Trump doesn't care.
Or the Epstein files, or JFK. There's still redacted
100
information.
Yeah.
Like,
100%.
I don't care what anybody says. Everybody talks about it all the time going like, oh, they released them. There's still black bars on it.
Correct.
It does not matter. If there's a black bar on the piece of paper,
It
that
doesn't
means
count.
that we didn't get the information that we were promised.
Yeah.
So.
No, 100%. 100%. Yeah, so it's one of those things, again, like, just to go to the more philosophical, because that's basically it for that story, but like, it just makes you realize again that like you are, and I'm not calling the people who are watching this show or even me or the guys that are in this room and stuff like that like idiots, but we're like, to them, we're like the pawns, the useful idiots. Like, they ramp you up and get you like foaming at the mouth to vote for your candidate, and then when they win, they're like, okay, well, I don't need you anymore. It's the reason why Trump was like, yeah, you don't have to be a part of MAGA anymore if you don't support me bombing Fordo in Iran a year ago. If you're, we're still talking about Epstein, as Trump said. That's like one of the major things that you ran on, you idiot. JD
If he
Vance,
wouldn't have done that, he might not have been elected, honestly, because like people
100%.
who were like centrist were like, yeah, I'm down. Like
liberals were down.
Yeah.
That was like a actual like unified front.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, release the frickin' files. When you start sexually abusing children, almost everybody, unless you're like a trans person that does sexually abuse children, but everybody else is on the same page. We're all like, kill that guy.
Well, it's always
literally
the same,
hang them.
It's always the same thing too. It's like JFK as well. They always say, "Oh, the reason why it's redacted is because we don't want like personal information of somebody like in the files to be like at threat, like their life to be threatened."
Yeah.
But it's always the same like monotone of us not knowing anything. Like as in like the redacted information is just enough to where we have like really no information.
Totally.
It's the same thing every
It's like with the Epstein
time.
files, because again, it's like, oh yeah, they released 2 million files. Well, there's like another million that they haven't.
Yeah.
And guess what? Guess where all the important information is? The one that they haven't released yet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And it's all like bait. It's all just hook, line, and sinker. Like, it's all just little stuff. And when the crowds start to roar and they're like, we're pissed at Trump, well, then he'll do something. He'll throw you a little bone.
It's like a breadcrumb.
Yes, he'll throw you a little bone. And all the dumb people are like, ooh, more files. They finally released it. It's like, yeah, they had their attorneys go through it for like 3 months to make sure, like, okay, we can throw them another breadcrumb, and there's really nothing in here. It's a nothing burger.
Yeah.
But people will go, we got another binder. It's like, okay.
It's even like the UFO stuff. Like they always do that too.
Every time.
It's like a little bone every time. It's like, hey, we got like this like little piece of video for
And what
you.
happened
It's
with
like,
that? It was all dramatic, and the White House was like posting like these weird alien videos, like and all that stuff. And then it's like, oh, nothing happened. There are no aliens, but they were basically like trying. It's like because Trump is a TV star. Okay, he is an actor. He's a TV star, and he knows how to. It's like, I don't know if you guys in the chat and people watching and listening to the audio podcast like would watch shows like Gordon Ramsay's like Hell's Kitchen and like all these different things. Trump, his show like The Apprentice and all that, Celebrity Apprentice, all these different things are in the vein of like Gordon Ramsay, Hell's Kitchen, or like restaurant, what is it, Bar Rescue,
John Taffer.
Yeah, Bar Rescue and like all that. It's all the same kind of TV programming where like their commercials for it is like so dramatic.
Yeah.
And it's like, tune in for the most craziest episode of Bar Rescue. John Taffer almost quits and people go to like the hospital.
They always leave you hanging.
Yes.
Always
And
leave
it's
you
like,
hanging.
it's always this like, I want to say something nasty, but it's always this like, it revs you up and then lets you down kind of thing. Every single time. And that is literally what those of you who know, you know what I mean. If you know, you know. But like, it's always this like rev you up, get you to watch this amazing trailer of this movie or this TV show or this episode of something. And you're just like, wow, I got to tune in Friday night at 7 p.m. You know, it's like going to be the craziest episode of Hell's Kitchen. You know, Gordon Ramsay punches someone in the face. No, actually what ends up happening is he like slipped and like a pumpkin pie like pied somebody in the face. And it's like, but the commercial made it look like he like threw a right hand, you know, like it's like over. That is the Trump administration.
That's where Trump
Every
is an
single time.
actual genius. Like people try to make him out to be like this 5D like chess master, like
Which he's not.
It's not true. But
But his
where he
marketing is good.
well, and also like the smoking mirrors and always like wanting you to like always wanting like a little bit more. Like that's where he is a genius.
He's like
It's
a showman.
Yeah, he's a genius entertainer.
There's a reason why he was a part of the WWE.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and his
because
show was like the biggest show ever. Like, The
everybody loved it
Apprentice-
until he became like a running. He was running for president.
Well, and
like,
guess what his most accomplished thing was rallies, which is just entertainment.
It's a
That's
show.
all it is, and that's what
100%.
he was the most like accomplished political like.
100%. No,
he
that's
had the cult of personality for sure.
100%. And that's the thing is like that's what people don't understand is if you fell for it, like don't beat yourself up about it because obviously like we did too. Because I fully am just like, yeah, we fell for it. It is what it is.
Small
I
side
know.
question.
Yeah.
I heard something recently about him saying he's going to run for another term or something. Was that just? I
That was
didn't
a
look
joke.
into it.
That was
was that
at, like,
just a
dinner.
joke?
Yeah, that was
Okay,
like that was out of like a
Well,
roast.
he keeps doing that. He's literally just like edgelording. He's like trying to like
yeah.
It's all part of it.
Yeah, and again, that's the point is like, but like it makes like liberals, for example, like scared because they're like, he is literally a dictator and he's going to run for a third term. And he like makes their heads spin. And then all the people who are like Trump sycophants are like, yeah, third term, like Constitution. Who cares about that? It's literally in there. Anybody who has any questions about the Constitution and what it says about running for a third term, oh, but it's not consecutive. It covers that, bro. Like it literally says consecutive or non-consecutive. You get 2, that's it. Trump is out. He's not running for a third term. If he was, he is literally breaking the Constitution, and anybody who's for that, you're against the Constitution.
So he was just.
Well, I think
Yes.
what he's doing is he's like litmus testing. Like he's seeing like what the reaction would be. Like if everybody
soft
actually
launching.
did go, if everybody actually did go, yeah, third term, then he might actually press
Try.
it.
Yeah, he might try.
might actually press it.
Which is what Erdogan did in Turkey. They
Yeah.
actually had term limits, and Erdogan is actually, Trump and Erdogan in some ways are actually very similar because, again, this is like super nerdy crap because it's not like everybody like pays attention to Turkish politics, but like I remember when they were basically going to, it's like it's not an amendment to their constitution. It's not what it's called, but essentially in our terms, it was they were trying to amend their constitution to allow for him to run for more than, I think theirs is like, it's either 2 or 3 terms at the time. And they made it to where now, like constitutionally, there are no term limits. So like Erdogan could literally be in control of Turkey until he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's similar to Russia too, because Russia actually had limits as well, and now they don't either.
Yep.
So like, who knows? Maybe again, like the liberals were kind of right about like Trump starting World War III, kind of. And so, hey, you know, maybe he is trying to run for a third term. I don't think he is. I think again, it's like edgelording. He's literally trying to like bait people into like raging. Hence the term rage bait. But you never know.
I don't know. I think
never know.
it is ultimately edgelording, but
Yeah.
like if there was enough momentum for him to like let's say there was a war and people were desperate and they're like, Trump is our
Wartime
guy.
president.
We have to have him.
Can't have an election in a war.
Totally. Totally
He'll
take up
step
the crown.
up to the plate.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
I don't
worry.
want to, but I will. Everybody needs me. I'm
Be
back.
the greatest America.
Yeah. Like, oh my gosh.
So I definitely think like overall it's an edgelord thing, but you know, if it worked out that he somehow could get the third term, I wouldn't see him going, I'm not
He wouldn't
taking
deny
it, guy.
No,
I'm not taking it.
No, he would do it. Yeah, 100%. If things fell into place, then he would 100%, quote unquote, step up to the plate just so that, you know, America is better off and it's stronger, safer, great again. Yeah. Which here, talking about political stuff and elections, that leads us into our next topic.
Perfect.
Elon Musk. Getting into the midterms, Musk's super PAC is preparing to spend $100 to $120 million on field programs in at least 8 states to help Republicans in November. Senate targets include Alaska, Iowa, Maine, Michigan, and Ohio. House races in California, Wisconsin, Washington, and more. This comes a year after the public blow-up with Trump and his third-party talk. That was the America Party, if you remember. They reconciled, and now the checks are flowing again. What do you guys think?
My question is, will he be throwing money at candidates that Trump also wants and endorses, or different people? Is he trying to change the Republican Party?
So he specifically said he's financing Republicans that already have like a bit of an edge over Democrats. So he's basically like pressing the advantage. So he's making sure nobody's going to like lose seats.
But that would be like a Byron Donalds, though.
Yeah, correct. He's not a good. I'm not saying like he's like some saint. I'm saying
No,
like,
I know. But it could be a Trumped back person like a Byron Donalds, or it could not be, depending on what it looks like the people want more.
Yeah,
essentially is what you're
I
saying.
think what he's trying to make sure is that no matter what, we're having a stable economy in order for his businesses, and in order to have a stable economy, he needs to have Republicans.
For sure.
And in order to do that, he's just making sure that there's no seats lost. Like that's because he's putting $100 million of his money. So he's basically assuring that like a Congress person, no matter what, has like $1 million in ad revenue that they can just pour out.
You'd think he would feel a little bit more burned after what happened between like him and Trump with Doge and everything like that. Like
He does. He didn't put as much. He put hundreds of millions of dollars in 2024. He just put $100 million in this. So it's not as
gotcha. So he's probably just doing this kind of as like a almost like a benefit to him.
Yeah, he's
in a
making
way.
sure that like SpaceX doesn't get
It's an
like
investment.
destroyed by Joe Biden like
Yeah, it's just an investment. It's not actually like a true believer. It's not like ideological. It's literally just like
No, I mean, if like Zoran Mamdani
Economical.
were to take office, he won't have Tesla anymore. Like, it's not a
Yeah,
joke.
yeah.
If a socialist comes in, there's no more SpaceX.
Correct.
So in
Correct.
his mind, it's like I'll
It's just
put in
logic
Yeah,
for
I'll
him.
put in whatever
Yeah.
money I have to.
and that's the thing is like for me, I'm like, because we were all on the train of like Elon Musk is coming in doing Doge, all that kind of stuff gonna help like change everything. Well, he got burned, so like he's out.
Yeah.
I think that he has literally said on podcasts like, there's nothing you can do. It's basically over. Like he's like blackpilled when it comes to politics.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
fully, totally blackpilled. Because he literally was saying like, I don't even think there's anything you could do to fix it. Like we're in so much debt. And he even said, I think it was on Joe Rogan actually, he said, he was like, if I told you everything that I know, like I would be killed. Like because it's that bad. It's that like
Jeez.
dirty and corrupt. And even when he was getting into certain topics, Joe Rogan even said like, do you want to like go this far? Like, do you want to, watch? And then
Yeah,
Elon himself went, yeah, I got to like watch what I say.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really bad, guys. Like that is,
We're in the U.S. and a guy is saying on like a public podcast, like, if I talk any further from here, I'm probably gonna die. So I probably should stop talking.
we're like in the Soviet Union now.
Joan
Yeah.
Rivers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch what you say.
Yeah. No, honey. We all know Barack Obama was our first gay president. Michelle is a man. We all know. And then she literally dies like 2 weeks after that.
Whoopsies.
Yeah, during surgery.
Yeah. Oh, wow. And it's not even a dangerous surgery.
Yeah.
It was like very like regular
They like
routine
put
surgery.
something in like her anesthesia.
Yeah. She just didn't wake up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Crazy how that works.
Yeah, wild. So here's an interesting thing. So like this is kind of like a question for you guys. What do you guys think? But let me just kind of go into it a little. Do you think that Elon Musk's money still moves the needle the same way that it did prior to the Wisconsin loss? And that Wisconsin loss obviously was like Elon Musk heavily backed the conservative candidate Brad Schimmel for former Wisconsin Attorney General. And Musk and his groups that are tied to him basically spent $20 to $25 million, by far the largest single contribution in the race to try to flip the court to a conservative majority, and lost. So, like, do you think that it's going to be as effective as, like, 2024 election, Elon getting in and, like, spending all that money? Or do you think it might be, like, a waste?
Joey?
Well, that's a tough question because no matter what side you're on, like the leftists don't like him for a certain reason.
Yeah.
And then the MAGA people don't like him because they just wrote him off as like a traitor because Trump said so.
Yeah.
So he's kind of stuck in the middle with us.
That's my point.
So I don't know.
That's my
I mean,
point.
money
because
is money, but
It
like,
is.
as far as like endorsement or his name carrying
money
weight behind stuff,
money can help influence, but just raw influence itself can actually be more powerful than money, because
Right.
raw influence itself can raise money if you don't have money. If you have like everybody loves you, like let's say like right now, everybody in the chat loves me so much, and they're like, we want Aaron to run for like congressman of the district that we're in right now. Okay, if everybody loves me, it doesn't matter if I'm like broke. You guys will raise money for me.
That's true.
Okay, but then you have the people that are like the George Soroses of the world, who have like the most money, but literally everybody hates them and wants them to die. And it's like, well, sometimes it works in their favor, sometimes
like
it doesn't.
if he donated to someone and people knew that person would like lose because they're
Correct,
like, oh, he's
'cause they-
Soros back.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, is it as effective? I don't know.
I think that I was thinking about this when I was reading the article. I have like a theory. I think he's kind of pulling like an Augustus Caesar kind of move, which is like when Augustus Caesar took over, he made it look like he wasn't the dictator. So he still had like the Senate run.
Yeah.
And they would vote, and he would even be like, good job, guys, on the vote. But really, he was picking the people.
That's
He
Kim
was-
Jong-un.
Yeah,
That's like
he
in
would-
North Korea. Yeah.
And I think Elon's trying to do the same thing. He knows
Yeah.
if he's like the front man, it's gonna fail because people make fun of him. They always
Yeah.
call him autistic. They always think that like he has like this grander plan because he's like a trillionaire now.
Yeah.
So in order to defeat that, he's just not gonna be there anymore. He's gonna like back them. Maybe he'll like write like a little post about them on his X account.
Yeah.
But other than that,
He's out.
He's out, and he's just gonna create these packs
Which
and become really powerful.
Is smart.
And basically have a third party without saying that he is a third party.
Yeah.
That's what because he already started that America First thing. He just backed off of it because he realized it wasn't going to go anywhere.
Yeah,
and he
the
might
America
die,
Party. Yeah.
and he might die or something.
Oh, yeah,
so
I haven't
now,
heard about that in a long time.
Yeah, so now he's just going to have his own one without actually saying it. Just like
he's just going to influence it and try to just change the Republican Party to be what he thinks the America Party should be.
which is like what smart politicians
It
do.
is smart.
I mean, because that was the problem with
Yeah.
like in ancient times, like with Julius Caesar. He said that he was the dictator and then got killed.
Correct.
And then
Yeah,
you
yeah.
had his Augustus, the next person. He didn't say it.
Yeah.
And then
No, it's
everything
smart.
works out.
It is smart. Yeah, no, it is smart.
He should
for sure.
lobby for his like Tesla robots to be able to vote. Then he would just win.
Do they get like a full vote or like a third of a vote?
They get 3/5.
3/5 of a vote. Yeah. That's a funny joke for people who know history. All right, moving on. So that's the Elon Musk thing. Definitely interesting. We'll just see what happens with that. I don't know if it's, very like deep-seated, whatever, or if it's just for his business, or if it'll even work. We don't know. So we'll definitely keep an eye on that. But now we are getting more to a topic that I am interested in, and for different reasons than you would think. This is Fauci. It's Fauci time. So, at a July 29th Senate hearing, Anthony Fauci invoked the Fifth Amendment repeatedly. Okay, it's reported that he invoked his Fifth Amendment right over 100 times. And every single time you invoke the Fifth Amendment, you literally have to say, on the advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment privilege or right or whatever. It's like the most obnoxious thing in the world. So then people were like screwing with him and being like, and we got some videos for you. So we actually have some content. We got some videos for you tonight. And people were literally like, what color tie are you wearing? He's like, on the advice of counsel, I am invoking my Fifth Amendment. It was very funny.
Gotta be consistent.
Yeah, what color is the carpet? They're just trying to like mess with him because they know that he's just going to do that. Here's my thing, though. So we all know Biden issued a full pardon on January 19th, so the day before Trump got in office, 2025, covering federal offenses dating all the way back to January 1st of 2014, which is crazy. So second term, 2 years into the second term of Obama is essentially like, that's insane. That is so crazy.
Has that happened before?
On
that kind of scale?
I don't know if that long. I mean, if you want to just grok it real quick, maybe. I know that, for example, the Biden preemptive pardons have never happened before, because that's literally like me saying, I'm preemptively pardoning you for the next 6 months until I leave office, that if you decide to like murder somebody in 6 months, you're already pardoned. That's never happened before. So those have never happened before, but like a pardon that's essentially, what is that, 20... That's like 11 years of pardon.
That's so long.
That's
I'm
crazy.
looking it up right now.
Yeah, that's insane. So while he looks that up, I'll just make these points here. So so here's the question. Here's the question that everybody has to answer. And again, here's what we just talked about earlier. Trump is not doing anything about the auto pen anything. Whether they're laws that were signed in, whether they're executive orders that were signed by the auto pen, and whether it was pardons that were signed by the auto pen, he's not pursuing anything, and whether or not it's legitimate or not. He jokingly puts up, and by the way, again, this is not just because I'm like bashing Trump for the fun of it, that walkway that goes to the Oval Office that is like by the Rose Garden and stuff. I like historical buildings. I like classy. I like very like old school, historic, all that kind of stuff. Oh, dude, it's so trashy looking now because he's got the wall of presidents and stuff, and it's so ugly. And these like fake gold plastic things that you can buy at Home Depot, which literally I looked it up, and they're like the exact same thing. They're gold-plated, like gold paint-plated plastic items that you can buy at like Lowe's or Home Depot. It's those swirly things that are all over the Oval Office.
Yeah,
it's like it's so hideous to me. It's like, if you look at Obama's Oval Office when he was in, that was boring. That was like bland. Like, it's like unseasoned boiled mashed potatoes with like no salt. It was like just gross. It was like brown couches and like no curtains and stuff. First Trump term, I was like, this is perfect. It's beautiful. This Trump term, there's like all these gold things everywhere and all these pictures and stuff. It's so ugly.
Well,
It's
remember
so-
when we stayed at Trump
it's so
Tower in
trashy.
Vegas? Like,
Yeah.
I did not think it was very nice.
No,
like
not at all.
I thought it was like stepping back. Like, you know, when you go into like a foreclosure house in
Yeah.
like 2008, you're like, oh man, like this used to be nice.
It would have been
And-
nice in 2005.
Yeah, that's what I'm
It
saying.
would have been like peak.
I'm like, we're like past this like
Yeah.
15 years.
You're like, yeah, it's like 20 years.
and there, and
It's
there's
like 2025
no
and we're-
effort to remodel it at all. It's like that cheap like gold over like the toilet or
Oh,
the
yeah.
tub. Remember
Yeah,
that? It
yeah,
was like
yeah.
so like.
It's just so cheesy, man. It's
Yeah.
so okay. So, anyways, my point of that was saying that they have that wall, and Trump jokingly, where Joe Biden's portrait is supposed to be, he put a picture of the auto pen, and it literally says like under it, President Auto Pen, and it's got like this long Trump-style truth post basically on a plaque. It's so long that usually graphic designer brain here, like Joe will understand, when you make a plaque, it's typically, like in portrait mode, and it's close to square, but not. It's a rectangle, but it's like squarish rectangle, and it basically you try to fit in your blurb in something like that. Okay, this is like skinny and long. It like goes to the floor talking about like the auto pen and all this stuff. Okay, well, again, Trump is not doing anything about the auto pen thing, but here's a valid point with the pardon with Fauci. A valid presidential pardon generally removes the risk of criminal prosecution for the covered acts, which again, dating back to 2014, that would be it, which undercuts the classic Fifth Amendment privilege. He basically, what that means is when you get a pardon, you don't get to use your Fifth Amendment right because you've been pardoned. You will not get criminally charged for what you admit to when people ask you a question if that date range is from 2014 to 2025, which is basically all the COVID stuff and prior, like stuff leading to COVID. But he, the whole time, is just claiming the Fifth Amendment. You don't get to do that. So actually, Congress can find him in contempt. So we've got a couple videos on this. Go ahead and play it for
It's
me.
against the law to obstruct an investigation of Congress. There will be repercussions to your refusal to testify today. Senator Peters. You're not recognized. You're not recognized. If you are unruly, you will be removed from the proceeding. You are not recognized, and you are not recognized, sir. Sir, you are not recognized. You are not recognized. Security, we'll hold off. But you will respect these proceedings. You were told not to sit at the table. You insist on sitting at the table. And we told you you would not be recognized. You are not invited here for testimony, sir. You are being disruptive. Would you behave this way in a courtroom? No, because the judge would put you in jail. I can't do that today, but I can have you escorted from the premises. So I would say, sir, sit quietly and don't say another word. I said, sit quietly. You are not recognized. Another word and you're gone.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to hear what the attorney has to say.
He is not recognized by the committee or the chair. If he speaks again, he will be removed from the room. This testimony is from Anthony Fauci. This is not a game with his lawyers. He can advise. His lawyers can give him advice. He's got a half dozen here. They're all allowed to talk to him.
Yes.
All right? Yeah. But the attorneys are not recognized. In fact, the attorney was told not to sit at the table, and he's not obeying that recommendation. There's a row behind you, sir. That's where you were told to sit, and you're not. And now you're disrupting the proceedings. And so, look, this is the way Anthony Fauci wants to be remembered, for a lawyer not listening to the rules. That's the way you want to be remembered, and that's what you're going to do. You are not recognized, sir. Security, please remove him from the room. Let the record state that Dr. Fauci will still have the advice of the other half a dozen attorneys that he brought along today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, nothing says honesty like taking the fifth, huh, Doc? Let's try something. What day of the week is it today?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color tie are you wearing?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
What color is the carpet in front of you?
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Let's just get one thing straight. You don't have any rights under the Fifth Amendment because you've been pardoned, as you very well know. As the Supreme Court has been clear for a century and more, Brown versus Walker, 1896, when he has been pardoned, he may not stand upon his privilege. You know that. Your lawyer is sitting behind you now shifting nervously in their chairs. They know it. This isn't about the Constitution. This isn't about the law. This is about contempt. Contempt for this body and contempt for the American people. But I think I know why you're doing it. It's because you don't want to answer questions. It's because you did all kinds of terrible things. It's because during the pandemic you got rich, didn't you? You got rich. While people were dying, hundreds of thousands of Americans, over 1 million in the end, and you were getting rich, and not only were you doing that, you were using federal employees with taxpayer money to apply for and solicit cash prizes for you personally. Cash prizes totaling over $1 million. You did all of that during the pandemic, didn't you? That's a question.
On the advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment to the Constitution.
Wow. What an impressive show. Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're like super duper non-black pilled, you'd be like, we're winning. We just spanked him. Yeah, but for me, I'm like, okay, so are we going to then move to a contempt resolution in Congress? Or do we think that this is just theater? Because here's the deal. If you actually wanted to do something about Anthony Fauci, then you would actually be investigating the auto pen pardons and whether or not that's actually constitutional, if that holds. If it does not hold, okay, then it's fair game, baby. And that's the reason why he's actually pleading the fifth, is because he even doesn't know whether that's going to hold or not. But there's no movement from Trump on this, so what's the freaking point? Okay, opposite, flip the other way. The auto pen pardons technically could be constitutional. Okay, well then why are we even pursuing this? What are we going to do? What is this, again, just bait for us to be like, yeah, we got him. We got him in contempt of Congress. Okay, cool. Like, he literally killed millions of people, but like, yeah, he's going to like maybe sit in a jail cell for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, he still has like 8 summer homes.
That's what I'm saying.
He's going to be
like,
chilling in.
Nothing happens. It's all theater. And somebody who can actually explain this even better than me is a guy you know by the name of Nick Fuentes. Now, this video is actually a little long. It's a little long for me even. It's 8 minutes, but it's really good. And he has a way with words that, like, when certain things I disagree with him on, and some things I actually am more extreme than he is. But on this, when I was watching it and listening to it, I'm like, this puts into perspective kind of like how I feel. Now, he will say certain things about Fauci basically being like a nobody and all that. I disagree there. I think Fauci actually had more of a role to play than Nick kind of says. But in terms of the overarching theme of what he's saying with Fauci, I completely agree. Play it for me.
And so in the first place, I look at this particular Senate hearing and I think, okay, so if Anthony Fauci is a target of this government, and he should be. Anthony Fauci, I believe, is a criminal, and I think it was criminal for him not to represent the full truth about the origins of the virus, about the school closures and the rest of it. If you're not going to charge him, then why bother? Charge him or don't charge him, but let's not waste everybody's time giving everybody their 30-second highlight reel for Fox News, grilling him in front of the Senate while he pleads the fifth. It's a waste of everybody's time. And if you cannot charge him, if that's not in the cards, if you're not capable of indicting him because he got a preemptive pardon from Biden, then why not go after anybody else? Let's not forget that during the pandemic, this was a far-reaching and a wide conspiracy. There was a true conspiracy, but it wasn't about nanobots and it wasn't about mass die-offs and things like this. How about the government making it illegal for every business other than Amazon and Walmart and Walgreens to stay open? How about that? How about that the government put people out of work and put people out of business and inadvertently, or maybe intentionally, redirected all that market share to the biggest companies in the country? How many small businesses were destroyed? How many livelihoods were destroyed? Meanwhile, Amazon and Facebook and all these other NASDAQ companies, the S&P 5, they all went way up during the pandemic while everybody else was way down. How about the pharmaceutical industry that created the vaccines? If there's a major scandal of the pandemic, it's not just the virus itself and the origins and the mortality. It's not just the lockdowns and the shutdown of the economy, which was a transfer of wealth, but it was also the vaccines and how they misrepresented the risk of the vaccine and then mandated it. And the Biden government told businesses, if you have a certain number of employees, you have to give everybody the vaccine. Everybody that works there has to have the vaccine. And schools mandated the vaccine too. So why aren't the pharmaceutical companies being held accountable? What about the tech companies? In the middle of the wealth transfer and the lockdown, in the middle of the vaccine mandate, you had all the big tech social platforms colluding to censor anybody that opposed this. On Meta, on Google or Alphabet, whichever you like, on all the major social platforms, they colluded to ban anybody that dissented on any of these issues. On the virus mortality, on the virus origin, on the vaccine and the risks of the vaccine, on the vaccine mandate, all of it. So where are the indictments for big tech? Where are the indictments for the pharmaceutical companies? Where's the indictments for the bankers and the other economic planners that thought it was a good idea to print $6 trillion, put everybody out of business, create a fiscal and monetary stimulus bigger than anything in American history? Where's the accountability for all this? Don't give me a Senate hearing for Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci was effectively a paid actor. He's barely a doctor. If I recall correctly, he's not even in the business of what COVID was all about. He's not an epidemiologist. He's a regular physician. So this is a low-level bureaucrat who has the appearance of something like a wholesome elderly doctor. He's sort of like a comforting, wholesome elderly physician that they were trotting out on television like a version of Bill Nye. He plays a scientist on TV. He plays a doctor on TV. He was really in a press role. His job was to instill public confidence, cosplaying as a doctor to give him some credibility and authority while reassuring the public during press conferences. And this is something he discusses in the Journal. To the extent that he had friction with the president, it's because the president was telling him, hey, man, you got to get people to feel better. You got to instill confidence. You have to comfort people and be optimistic. That's not the work of a doctor. You don't want, when you visit a physician, or if you're in a policy-making role, if you're an epidemiologist, you don't want your doctor or the World Health Organization to present an optimistic vision. You want them to tell you what is happening to your body. You want them to tell you what is happening to the overall health of the public, not to reassure you. That's a press role. Your job is as an actor. So why are we going after this low-level bureaucrat cosplaying as a doctor? And especially, why are we going after him if he's protected by a preemptive pardon? And to ask is to answer. Why are they going after him in this way? Because they cannot or will not go after anybody else. Trump administration's not going to go after Meta. And you want to know why the Trump administration is not going to go after Meta? Because, and this is a dirty little secret, the people at Facebook have a relationship with the Republican Party. The people in big tech carefully manage the people in the Republican Party. They did it throughout the first term. They've done it throughout the second term. When Republicans are out of power, big tech is putting the screws in us. When Republicans are out of power, they're doing editorial censorship. They're banning everybody. They're censoring everything. And then when Republicans are in power, Sheryl Sandberg and Mark Zuckerberg are kissing Trump's ass. And they're doing and saying things that he think they'll like because they know that flattery buys them currency and it gets them out of a regulatory problem with the administration. So Trump is not going to go after big tech. He refuses to do it. He could, but he won't. And Trump's not going after the pharmaceutical industry either. He's not going after Pfizer. It's never going to happen. Now, do you think that if Trump went after Pfizer, that his voters would be happy? Absolutely, and it would be deserved. And if Trump went after Facebook, the voters would be happy, and it would be deserved. But he can't. He won't. They're too powerful. He doesn't want to alienate them. That would be a fight. That would be hard. So what do instead? They go after some low-level bureaucrat responsible for almost nothing. Yes, he got to be the face of it for about a year. Yes, he got to play and be famous and get his 15 minutes for a little while. But he was not the engine of these policies. He was not the engine of these economic policies known as the monetary and fiscal stimulus that happened at the Federal Reserve and at the Treasury Department. He did not create those economic policies. He didn't shut down the entire society. He didn't invent the vaccine and force everybody to get it. But he's an easy target for the simple reason that he was the face and has no backing and conveniently cannot really be held accountable because he has a pardon in his back pocket. So what this functions as is something that they can, at no cost to this administration, feed a hungry base before the midterms. Here we are a year and a half in. Nothing is as it should be. Inflation is ticking up. Federal Reserve is leaving interest rates unchanged. They want to increase them, but they can't. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. So the cowardly Kevin Warsh leaves the rate unchanged. Inflation's high, interest rates are high, housing prices are high, we're in a war, the deficit is high, the Pentagon's out of cash, they want a $1.5 trillion military, we're losing a war. So what do? They give us Anthony Fauci in a hearing. And Rand Paul is going to yell at him, and Brandon Gill is going to yell at somebody else next week. And we're supposed to watch this on Instagram and feel pretty good about it. I'm not happy about it.
I literally, this is my point, is there's a reason why I use that video again, even though it was long, is because he was able to tie multiple things together that I've been trying to say, like for this whole show. And it's funny because I was basically planning on saying that even before I saw that video, and that's why I wanted to use it, because it's like, okay, he actually is like saying a lot of the things that I'm trying to say in a better way. Now, I will, like Tommy and I were kind of talking about this while the video was playing, is like him saying that he's a low-level bureaucrat is technically false because Anthony Fauci was in charge of the NIH even before COVID. But when it comes down to what actually matters, though, he basically is, and this is where I do agree with him, he basically is a low-level bureaucrat because the people who actually run things are the big wigs at the pharmaceutical companies like Pfizer, like Johnson & Johnson, like Moderna, all that kind of stuff. So in a way, even if you disagree with that specific thing that he said, the rest of it is true. And again, every single time, Trump is not doing anything with Albert Bourla from Pfizer. He's not doing anything from the president of Johnson & Johnson, of whom he's like close friends with and plays golf with. Like nobody from Moderna. In fact, Moderna is merged with the government in this fascistic way where it's like the government basically has it's like basically like having stock in Moderna, but it's over patents and stuff. So they're partners. We're not doing anything with that, but we do have Anthony Fauci, even though he's already pardoned and even though he's going to claim the Fifth Amendment and not say anything. We've got that. So we got a nice little show trial for you guys to like pay attention to.
Scapegoat.
Yeah, just don't even worry about what's going on in Iran and how that is literally turning into a world war now. Just watch C-SPAN or watch Fox or watch CNN, whatever floats your boat, you know, and just watch Anthony Fauci get grilled and say, on the advice of counsel, I am claiming my Fifth Amendment privilege.
Exactly.
Like, You know what I mean? It's just totally bogus. And again, like if you actually think that that anything is going to happen,
Well, and I think too, the real crimes were committed by those companies, like you're
Correct.
saying, Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson. So there's nothing
Yeah.
that's going to even be found really with Fauci.
No,
The real
only
crimes
thing
were
that-
committed by the people that were backing Fauci.
And the only thing that you would find, and this is the reason why like Fauci's emails are redacted and stuff like that, is his complicity in using his position in the government to allow private companies to do what they did. Right? Like it's like the inside guy.
Yep.
You know, it's like we need a guy that will work a teller job at the bank that we're about to rob. Okay, Anthony Fauci is the teller at the front desk.
Yep.
But the people who are actually robbing the bank is Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, if you get my
And that's hard to prove too in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it's hard to prove. And then on top of that, like, even if you are able to prove it, like the jail time that everybody would actually want, it would not happen. He'd
No.
be in jail. Joe was making a joke for like 2 weeks. You know,
100%,
he'd be in there,
100%.
you know,
Yeah.
while putting like his new investments in his new like summer home in New Hampshire, you know, like
100%. 100%. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, because of the fact that the companies that committed most of the crimes were like they're private companies. I mean, again, Pfizer, Johnson, I almost said Pfizer and Pfizer. Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, like all these companies. Okay, they're not like the government, where with the government, if you like destroy emails and stuff like that, because in the state of Florida, they're called sunshine laws because we're the sunshine state, but you're not allowed to like delete emails and stuff if you work for the government. Because if somebody has a FOIA request, the Freedom of Information Act request, then you have to be able to turn those over. Okay, well, that's not the same thing. It's not like that for private companies. So all the real, like what Tommy was saying, all the juicy stuff with Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, all that, that's already long been destroyed. The only thing that you're going to find with Anthony Fauci's stuff that, again, was redacted, because it's a national security threat to release that information, of course. The only thing that you would find is actually like supporting evidence for what was destroyed from Pfizer,
Yep.
Moderna, Johnson & Johnson. So again,
They're only chasing the car because they know that they're not going to catch it.
correct. It is,
But it
it's-
makes the people happy.
It's what Tom has said on this podcast 1,000 times before, is when they don't have the votes to get rid of Obamacare, then they're all in. We're going to revoke, we're going to get rid of it, and all this stuff. And then the day that they actually finally had the votes by one person, John McCain voted no. Every other time he voted yes. But that one time he voted no. You know why? Because they actually wanted to keep Obamacare. But they knew that all of their constituents were like, repeal this bull crap. And they're like, yeah, we're going to repeal it. We're going to repeal it. Hey, do we have the votes to repeal it? No, we don't. Okay. Yeah, we're going to repeal it. We're going to repeal it. And then finally they do. And they're like, we're not going to repeal it. It's the same thing with this. Every single time. They 100%. Will, again, I want to say the same thing that I said before. They will rev up your engine and then let you down. And you will not get any release at all in any way.
Always leave them wanting more.
Yep. And congratulations, you're going to vote for them again next term.
That's show business, baby.
Yep. You're going to vote for them again, and there's nothing you can do
Except
about it.
we won't.
I'm not. Screw that. I'm not going to be a retard again.
We are changing.
Yeah, I'm out. Sorry. Yeah, it's not going to happen. All right, this is the last topic. It's a quick hitter, but it's interesting, very alarming.
Very important. It is very important.
It's extremely important. And so this is what's going on in Spain. I think it's pronounced Sueta. I don't know. Ceuta? I don't know. Usually I'm actually pretty good at pronouncing things. Let me just see.
It's an island off the coast of Spain. That's what's most important.
Yeah, but I just want people to know it's Ceuta.
It's probably so different from what you just said.
Probably, but I usually am pretty close. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't know. I might. We'll see. Let's see. By the way, if you don't know, it's Kutta.
Really? Interesting.
Or Kute. Like an kind of.
Well, it's off the coast of Africa, so maybe it was named by Africans.
Well,
or something. It might be
so
weird.
Here's what a lot of people don't understand is how close Spain is to Morocco. I've actually been to both places, and it was actually very cool. And even though like Morocco is quote unquote a third world country, like there's places there that are literally like super first world. And we were driving downtown in I can't remember the city, but it was, gosh. It's the one that's literally the closest to Spain. It's right on the coast. It's that song "Rock the Casbah." Okay, the Casbah is a fort there, and that was written there in that city.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it was very cool. We
That's
actually
cool.
went and saw. There's a Cafe Baba is there, which that's where like the Rolling Stones would hang out, smoke a bunch of
Wow.
pot, and write music. So like we went and saw like all these different parts in Morocco. But here's the problem though: Morocco is still African, and it is still extremely Muslim. And other than that city is actually a weird kind of like international city. 33% are Christian, 33% are Muslim, 33% are Jewish. It is exactly split into thirds. It's very odd. And they're like fine with each other. It's because
Wow.
they're really just very religious, but not like zealous. You know what I mean? Like the Christians, obviously, if you're a real Christian, you would never try to kill anybody. But if you're like a real Muslim, you do.
Yep.
And if you're a real Jew, you do try to like subvert. So like, but like they're all just kind of like hanging out together. They don't really care. But the problem is with this this border surge in Spain is Spain's Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez ran a massive regularization program this year. Nearly 1.2 million undocumented migrants applied, which the government expected like 500,000. And they got 1.2 million. Now thousands of course, mostly young men, military-age men, are storming into Spain's North African enclave in Ceuta from Morocco, swimming or breaching the fence. Reception centers are overwhelmed. Locals are calling for the military. The same pattern we keep seeing. You legalize or open the door, and the numbers explode. We've got some videos for this. It's 4 back-to-back, but they're really quick. Hit it.
Dios mío de mi vida. Qué fuerte.
I think I actually saw one of my waiters there. Just kidding. The city that I was trying to think of, because I know some of you in the chat were trying to help me, it's Tangier. So I stayed in Marrakesh, which is more like in towards the like more middle of the country, and that's like more deserty. And then took a train through Casablanca, Rabat, and then ended in Tangier. Tangier is like beautiful, like great city, very cool. And again, that is like closer to Spain than like Cuba is to Florida. like extremely close. And so I'm looking at the map here, and so where Qatar is, it is still connected to Morocco, and it is connected to Africa. I wish I could actually show this on the screen, but it is actually African. It is owned by Spain, but is not on like the Spanish mainland.
No, it's right off the coast of Africa.
Correct. So like, and that's why I was saying like, people are swimming because they're swimming around because it's literally like a horn coming off. They're swimming around and invading that. And then there's also like a border wall, a fence. I mean, it's not a wall, it's a fence. And they're basically just like climbing over it. And that is French territory. And here's the thing is like, or Spanish, not French, sorry. Spanish territory. They used to be run by the French, Morocco, by the way. They've basically been like run by everybody at that point. But it's like Spanish territory. But I mean, who knows how much longer? I mean, it's not a very big area.
They need to root for the great white sharks as they're trying to like cross over from the coast to.
There's some big ones around.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, and here's something that's super important too to know is like that is actually a port, Port de Ceuta. Is actually used for the Spaniards to like ship things to Africa.
Yep.
So that's like it would basically be the equivalent of when Russia took over the Crimean Peninsula in Ukraine, because it was because of the port.
Yep.
So like if they take that over, like that's gonna really like crush Spain like very badly.
I mean, I don't think they're looking to really take it over though. I think that they're just trying to feed off of the Western colony as much as they can.
Maybe
take all of the.
Well, but what's the end goal though? Is usually they like suck it dry and then take it.
Yeah, and then they just keep going.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
they're
they
gonna
are
go
like
in there,
cockroaches.
They're gonna rape and pillage.
Yep,
and then move on and try to maybe take all the ships that are there and move into Spain mainland.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the goal.
100%.
They're already trying. I looked at a video tonight and. I mean, hide your wives, hide your kids. They're literally breaking into people's houses. It's because in Spain, obviously, it's like dark right now.
Yeah.
Or actually, right now it's probably morning, but 8 hours ago it was dark.
It was getting dark, and they were breaking in.
They were trying to break into windows. So they're coming in for your women and children. So prepare yourselves. This is what you get. When you have these politicians that want you and your families to be literally destroyed.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things where it's like if they had like a strong border wall, this is the importance of a border wall. This is what I was saying is like Trump can like close the border all he wants, but when he's out of office and stuff, we still don't have a border wall. So we're just going to have Biden 2.0. We're going to have that same. I mean, that's like you watch those videos, it's like alarming. Like, can you imagine being like, I don't know, you're Spanish, so I guess you like nap in the middle of the day on a work day, but like you wake up from your little siesta and you're like pouring yourself a little cup of coffee to go back to work and stuff, and you like look out your window and you see that.
It's over.
Oh, dude.
It's over.
And there's really nowhere to go because
you're on an island.
You're like basically on an island. You're on like a peninsula, but the rest of that peninsula is Morocco. So like you have and it's not like you can swim to Spain. It's close, but it's not that close. Like
their property values instantly just got cut in half.
Tanked.
Yeah, you guess what military-aged men always go for? Not good if you're there,
Yeah.
Like I would literally hide your family in the closet, Like
I would be at night, I would just be sneaking out. I'm like getting on some boat or something. I'm getting out.
Yeah.
I would
cover my girlfriend in like a hijab so that she looks no different from like a man, and I would be trying to get out of there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. 100%. Yeah, no, I don't even, it's just so bad. And again, this is like something that, we have the ability to stop here if we actually build a border wall, but like we haven't. Yeah, we might have got like 140 miles of it, but out of a 2,000-mile border, we're just looking at the same thing. And we had this under Biden. And again, this is where I give Trump kudos. We're not having it now. We can all agree that like that has stopped.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like, I don't even care if you literally hate Donald Trump. You like despise him as if you're like a leftist. You have to give him that kudo.
Yep.
100%. If you agree with having the border closed, he did a great job with that. But again, that doesn't last if you don't build a wall. It doesn't last if you don't codify things. It's already illegal, but like Joe Biden, it doesn't matter. He just let him in because he could, because there's no wall there. Okay, that's why you have to use the wall as the second set of like blockades for this to happen. Your first set is it's illegal. Okay, well, that doesn't help when people are like letting them in and you're turning Border Patrol agents into like facilitators of bringing people in. You have to have a wall, which we don't have. They clearly don't have a strong enough wall either. It's like literally like a fence, and these people are just climbing over.
Yep.
Okay, well, you're screwed then. Sorry, like it's over. So I don't know. That's where we can end on a positive note. We'll give Trump kudos for that. Good job.
Yay.
It's like breathing. Good job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, congratulations. You brushed your teeth today.
Yeah.
Do you want a medal?
You fulfilled like one of the only purposes of the federal government, which is to
Protect its
the
citizens.
borders.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's our show for you tonight. We've got some Rumble rants. Let's go ahead and hit them.
Graffiti Bug donated $20. Thank you, Aaron, Tommy, and Joe for the great podcast. You guys are awesome and entertaining.
Thank you, Graffiti Bug. I appreciate it. We'll take the encouragement wherever we can get it. Yeah, and again, like I've said multiple times this week and last week, we're trying to be entertaining. You know, we got to bring you some news. Some of it's bad, some of it's good, some of it is a Trump impersonation. But we got to be entertaining. You know what I mean? We got to keep you like on your toes, and you don't know what's going to happen. We might just start talking about like hurricanes and me almost getting like killed and stuff, swept away by the wind.
Next week we'll be talking about Bigfoot, Mothman.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be fun. The Mothman one would be fun.
Oh, I know you love Mothman.
Yeah, that
Listen,
would be fun.
This is funny because nobody knows this because nobody was around for this. But Tommy, Joe, and I, we started actually doing like Twitter Spaces. When Twitter Spaces first came out, it's like audio only, and you can just do it from your phone. You don't need to have like a microphone like this or anything. You can if you want, but you can just do it from your phone. And so we were literally just doing it for the fun of it. Like there was 2 people that would like tune in,
Yeah.
and listen.
Yeah, it was
but
great.
but like nobody was listening. But it was super entertaining, and I feel like this audience would actually watch it. Like
Maybe.
Yeah. This stripped down version of what was previous. Yeah, 100%. What's left after the week of us? 100%.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, the
they've
12
stayed for a
people
week.
that are left.
Yeah. They've stayed.
Yeah, you're like totally in. Yeah, we'll do a Twitter space again, and we'll just see like who comes on. But anyways, thank you, Graffiti Bug.
Charlie E340 donated $50 because we always have hope with Jesus.
True.
Amen. Yep. Charlie 340. Thank you. Yeah, and exactly. That's what I say all the time. It's like that's like I'm black-pilled with politics and stuff like that, but I'm not black-pilled with Jesus. Like he died for your sin. If he just left it there, I was talking to Tommy about this last night. If it was just salvation that he offered, that's enough. Even just that is enough. But he didn't just stop there. He also had, by the stripes of his back, you were healed, you were set free, you were delivered. There's so many promises that come with being a Christian and having faith in Jesus and making sure that obviously like if you sin, if you screw up, that you repent of it and you actually are like trying to live your life in a way that is obedient to Christ. Like there are so many benefits. But even if he just died for your sins and that's it, and all you had to do is believe and repent of your sin, and he died and that was it, that's enough.
100%.
That's enough. So like you can have complete and total hope in Jesus because there's even more than that he offers you. And do we have any more rants?
One more.
Okay, well, before we hit that rant, I will say, like, if you're watching this show and maybe you don't, like, actually follow Jesus, maybe you're, like, more of, like, a cultural Christian, like, you grew up going to church and all that kind of stuff, you have to, if you're in the area, go to Foundation Church on Sunday morning. If you're not in the area, we stream it on all the same platforms that you're watching the podcast right now. YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, all that. We don't stream the podcast on Facebook because they ban us into oblivion. The church, they do, but not as bad. The show will literally get shut down on Facebook. But like you have to tune in because the thing is that is where our hope is found. Like there is no hope in politics. You can have excitement, you can have stuff, and it can like rev your engines every once in a while, and you can think like, oh, we're winning, and sometimes you are. Most of the times you're not, and it's fake and gay, you know, like most things in this world. But when it comes to Christianity, it's the only thing that's real. So like make sure that you tune in Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Foundation Church. Again, you can just type in Foundation Church wherever you watch this podcast, and you can tune in. You have to watch it. You have to be here. If you're able to get here, we're in Northport, Florida. Google Map it. If you're like an hour or two away, you can drive here.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Make the pilgrimage.
Make the pilgrimage.
It does not matter. It does not matter the time it takes to get here.
No.
But
you know what I heard?
It's literally the most important thing in the world.
Yeah, well, it's something. It's super cheesy, but it's something that some like old school like Baptist preacher would say is, if the church is alive, it's worth the drive. So listen,
100%.
this church is alive, so it is worth the drive. So anyways, let's hit that last rant.
Jules21Rs donated $10. So grateful that we have Jesus.
Yeah, amen, Jules. Yeah, exactly. That's what we were just saying. It's like, that's all you got, man. That's literally all you have, and that is enough. You might be struggling in some situation in your life and stuff like that, but if you have Jesus, he will see you through, because again, he is enough. He's more than enough. So doesn't matter what it looks like politically, doesn't matter what it looks like economically. If you have Jesus, you are saved, you are set free, and you don't have to operate in the economy of this world, because if you even just tithing, one aspect of tithing, which is just giving 10%. It's not even giving more than that, which you should do as well whenever the Holy Spirit tells you to. But just tithing, it rebukes the devourer on your behalf. Who's the devourer? It's the devil. So the devil is like basically rebuking, being pushed away on your behalf because of the fact that you're just simply tithing. That's like an easy thing to do.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So anyways, that's it for this.
Hold on. Tomorrow, the Bible podcast.
I was gonna say that. Yeah. No, I was gonna say that's it for this show. Tomorrow we are doing the Bible podcast, and we have a special guest. It is actually Tom's wife, Hope Laipply, will be hosting that. That is tomorrow at 8?
Yes.
8 p.m. on Instagram and TikTok. Make sure that if you don't have Instagram, you don't have TikTok, go ahead and download those apps. Follow the church, follow Tom Laipply, follow anybody that's even here that has one. I mean, I don't have a TikTok. I probably will never get one. And I never check Instagram. So don't follow me on there, because it's probably not that interesting. I am on X, though. I do post on that. But make sure that you tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. on Instagram, on TikTok, and then on Sunday morning for Foundation Church. That's it for this week for me covering. I think that Tom should be back next week. I don't know. We never know, but I think that he will be back next week. This is it for July. The next time we see you, it will be August. So we love you. We appreciate you. See you either tomorrow night, Sunday morning, or Tuesday at 9 p.m. God bless you.
Let go.
About me now and who I could have been, and then I picture all the
try this sausage. We'll see how good it is. See you later.
This podcast is all about. We talk about a lot of political things, but underneath all of that is the Bible. I am unapologetically 100% in favor of is the Bible. Jesus is the Word. There is no delineation. If the Bible says it, that's what Jesus is, and that's what Jesus believes. That's what this podcast is actually about, is to actually alert people to what is coming and what is our responsibility in the midst of it.